What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our predictions for Week 7 in the NFL. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, before we get into today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video as it will help us out tremendously. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, Week 7 is upon us, and we start off with a banger on Thursday Night Football. Finally, not a terrible game that we have to endure through, but we have the Saints and the Cardinals in Arizona, Thursday Night Football. Nick, who do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be a really good matchup. Should be really competitive, and it's a big loss for the Arizona Cardinals to not have Hollywood Brown on the field, but they do get the return of DeAndre Hopkins, and that's going to be absolutely massive for this team. If James Conner can rebound and be back for this game, it's going to be tremendous for this offense. But if they don't have James Conner, I think that run game is going to struggle, and we're going to see the Saints defense really come into play here. Jameis Winston should be back as well for the New Orleans Saints, and let's see if that offense can get going as well. It's really going to be a defensive battle in this one. But if I have to take the stronger defense, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. I think that they have the better defense. They have the better weapons overall. I mean, go try and stop Taysom Hill or Alvin Kamara. It's tough. And then you add Chris Olave, who's looking really good this year. And Michael Thomas could potentially be in this game. We don't know, but it's going to be a lot to handle for the Arizona Cardinals. And I don't think that defense is ready for it, even with the home crowd in their favor. It's not going to be enough. I'll be taking the Saints in this Thursday night matchup.
Nick, you forgot to mention that the Cardinals traded for Robbie Anderson. I have a question about that. Do you think that, he might have been a little confused when he got a text message about his loadout and kill-death ratio in Modern Warfare?
Yeah, well, Kyler Murray likes to send strong signals like that, so maybe they can get the connection going early through COD.
All right, well, so you have that, a team who just traded for our wide receiver, and then in our next matchup, we have a team that needs to trade for some wide receivers, and that being the Green Bay Packers. The Packers taking on the Washington Commanders, and the Packers are coming off of two horrible losses, coming off against the Giants in London, and then the Jets in Lambeau Field. It has not been a pretty 2 weeks for this team, but they look to get right against the Commanders, who are one of the worst teams in the NFL, and got worse as Carson Wentz will be expected to miss at least a month with his broken finger. Now it's Taylor Heineke time, and we've seen what he can do in this offense, and it's not overly great. I think the Packers are going to take a look at some of that film. They're going to take a look at some of the offensive plays that they've run so far, and they are going to run roughshod all over this Washington Commanders team. This game is in Washington, so Daniel Snyder will be present for it, and I know we're going to have to look at his face, but I think the Packers are going to wipe that smug smile off of his face, and it is going to be an onslaught. I'm taking Green Bay in this game.
Next up, we have the New York Giants taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is an upset right here. The Jacksonville Jaguars have been on the decline, and the New York Giants have been absolutely tearing it up, sitting at 5-1. As the away team, it's going to be tough going to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's defense is strong. Trevor Lawrence and the offense really have not been grooving as of late, and that's why they haven't been winning games. But as soon as they click, it's going to be back to the way they were playing right from the get-go to start the season, and I think that happens here. The New York Giants really rely on Saquon Barkley to carry the load for this offense, and I think with how strong the front seven of the Jaguars team is playing, they're going to hold him to a minimal game. They're going to force Daniel Jones to throw this ball and really show that he is a true quarterback from the pocket. I don't see it happening, especially not with the wide receivers available to him, and I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars will get a big victory at home on Sunday.
Moving over to the next matchup, we have the Thanksgiving Bowl. Both of these teams hosting Thanksgiving games every single year. The Detroit Lions, the Dallas Cowboys, and now the Cowboys get Dak Prescott back. We'll see if he can take over the reins from Cooper Rush, who went 4-1 in Dak's absence. And Cooper Rush looked really good. He was even competitive in Philadelphia against the Eagles, who are the only undefeated team left in the NFL. I think that the Lions have a tall order to go into Big D and get after the Cowboys. Cowboys. They are coming off of a bye week, but even 2 weeks isn't enough to prepare them for what they're going to face. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence will be getting after Jared Goff early and often, and this is a team that is going to struggle to put up points on this defense. I'm taking the Cowboys in this one.
Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Carolina Panthers. And last week I said, the Buccaneers, this is a great game for them to rebound against the Pittsburgh Steelers and get a big victory. Well, that didn't happen, but this is the week that it does. The Carolina Panthers are absolutely trash and can't do a single thing against anybody. The Los Angeles Rams actually played well against the Carolina Panthers, and they're a garbage team themselves. We're going to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even in their weakest form, have a fantastic game against the Carolina Panthers. This is a big game for them to hopefully right the ship that has been wrong for the last few weeks.
Yeah, hopefully Brady's not attending any more weddings on Friday night, that he can actually hang out with his team and get them involved. But I digress. The next matchup, we have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Tennessee Titans, and a couple of years ago, this would have been a marquee matchup that we would have been raving about. Right now, we are looking to switch the channel as soon as this game comes on because, let's face it, Jonathan Taylor has not been the same, and even if he does play, it's not going to be great. If he doesn't play, you're relying on Nyheim Hines or possibly Phillip Lindsay, Deion Jackson. Like, these guys aren't going to carry the load against the Tennessee Titans, who have a stout run defense, and they're going to be able to plug up the middle. On top of that, big Derrick Henry in Tennessee is going to get after this Colts defense, who's dealing with a myriad of injuries and issues up front. So I believe that the Tennessee Titans have what it takes to win, but this is an AFC South divisional matchup. I will take the home team in this one, but it's not going to be by a wide margin.
Now we have the Cleveland Browns taking on the Baltimore Ravens, and as we saw last week against the Patriots, the Cleveland Browns just didn't show up. The offense under Jacoby Brissett really couldn't get anything going, getting one touchdown to Amari Cooper. The Baltimore Ravens suffering a big loss to the New York Giants, and Lamar Jackson just continues to struggle passing this football. If he can't do it on the ground, it's just going to be a stagnant offense for the day. And this is going to be an interesting matchup, a big divisional game here, and both teams really need this victory to be competitive in this division, as it is still definitely up for grabs. The Baltimore Ravens have the upper hand being at home, and I think Lamar Jackson can rebound, but Myles Garrett's going to make it tough. If Jadeveon Clowney and Denzel Ward can make it back, it's going to be an even tougher matchup for the Baltimore Ravens, but I believe Lamar Jackson has it within him to get the job done. He's faced his team many times, and he knows how to spot their weaknesses and take advantage of it. I will rely on Lamar Jackson's athletic ability to get the job done and get the victory.
Taking a look at our next matchup, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Falcons coming off of that massive upset victory over the San Francisco 49ers, but the key here was that the 49ers were dealing with so many injuries that their backups had backups, and we didn't even know who was playing for the team by the end of the game. Nonetheless, the Falcons came up, they did their job, can't fault them for who they had to play. They just went out there and did their job. Now the Bengals are hosting the Falcons, and this is going to kind of get back to the way things used to be. The Bengals are going to have an onslaught with this offense. They're going to get an aerial assault with Jamar Chase leading the pack, and on top of that, the Atlanta Falcons are going to just be stymied trying to figure out where Joe Mixon is. I believe that the Bengals have everything in their repertoire to get after the Falcons. The Falcons are going to have to figure out how to muster up any sort of points against this very aggressive defense. I'm taking the Bengals at home.
Next up, we have the Houston Texans taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Both of these teams coming off of their bye week, and they should be refreshed. Now, it's going to be a very big game for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Houston Texans are just not on the same level, even though their records are the exact same. The Las Vegas Raiders have much better talent on both sides of the ball, and this is a great week for Derek Carr and Devontae Adams to get that chemistry going, get this offense going. Josh Jacobs should have a big day on the ground like he's been having so far this year. I really like what the Las Vegas Raiders are bringing to the table. They've just not performed enough to get the victory. This is going to be an absolute blowout. We see the spread at 7 here, but I will be taking the Las Vegas Raiders by a way bigger margin than 7.
Next up, we have the New York Jets traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos, who are coming off of that awful loss on Monday Night Football to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Broncos really struggled again offensively. They have not been able to figure it out. Nathaniel Hackett talked about how the Broncos were actually doing well in the first half, but they only scored 3 points in the second half. Not what you're looking for from this team. And by the time that the New York Jets are coming into town, I don't think that they're going to be able to figure it out. The New York Jets are on a hot streak right now. They don't know what they don't know. These guys are young and they are ready to take on whoever is in front of them. I'm taking the New York Jets with the upset victory in Denver at Mile High Stadium, beating Russell Wilson. I believe that the Jets have what it takes. They have the moxie to get it done, and they will roll on to yet another victory. Take the Jets at +3 when you're betting on this game.
Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, and we see Geno Smith really doing well with the Seattle Seahawks so far this year, much better than we ever anticipated him doing. And it really questions why the New York Jets ever got rid of him, because he's probably the best quarterback they've had in the last decade. But nonetheless, he's working well with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And we saw Kenneth Murray really burst onto the scene in his first start last week. He's facing the Los Angeles Chargers, and this is a great matchup. That defense is absolutely terrible. Brandon Staley cannot get his defensive magic back from when he was the Rams coordinator to this team, and they have just not been able to stop anybody. May have looked good against the Broncos, but again, it's the Denver Broncos. You can't take that for much. And I think the Seattle offense is really going to take it to them and really show that they are a legit team in the NFC. The Seattle Seahawks should have a big victory over the Chargers on Sunday.
Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, again, talking about how they were decimated with injuries. Well, now you have Patrick Mahomes coming to town. And if they don't get healthy, which it doesn't look like they will be, then they're going to struggle mightily against this offense. Patrick Mahomes lost by throwing a last-second interception to the Buffalo Bills last week. He's looking for some redemption, and this is the game to get it done. With all the injuries that San Francisco's dealing with, this is going to be an easy game for the Chiefs to get back onto their horse. I have them winning this game very easily.
And for our Sunday night matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Miami Dolphins. And it's going to be interesting because Kenny Pickett's hurt, and we're going to see Mitch Trubisky get the start once again. And Tua Tagovailoa is making his return from his concussion, and that is a big improvement for this offense. Skylar Thompson did okay, and well, Teddy Bridgewater just didn't look good at all. But it's going to help this team tremendously. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle tried their best, but with Tua back, they should really excel, and this defense feeds off of the offense. They have not had that momentum there the last couple weeks, so they're going to get it back in a big game here. Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a big win, have that momentum behind them. But I don't think that Mitch Trubisky is the guy to keep this offense going. He looked good when he took over, but that's because the Buccaneers just simply did not prepare for him. Now with the Miami Dolphins preparing for Mitch Trubisky, we're going to see him perform just like he did earlier in the season, and this Steelers offense will struggle once again. I will be taking the Miami Dolphins at their spread at -7 because I believe that Tua will be good and ready to go on Sunday night.
Mitch Trubisky's current team to his former team, we have the Chicago Bears taking on the New England Patriots, and the Bears, let's just face it, they have not looked good at all. This is a team that, while they may have a few extra days because they played on Thursday night last week, they just don't look good. Justin Fields is running for his life. The offensive line couldn't stop a nosebleed if they tried. Nobody can get open. Even when they do open, they can't catch the ball. Montgomery, because, even the guys inside the locker room can't spell the names on the jersey right. There is a whole myriad of issues going on with this Chicago Bears team, and it is not going to get fixed. This is not 1985. We don't have the 85 Bears coming to town. The Patriots will look to absolutely decimate this team. I'd be very surprised if Chicago put up a single point in this game. I'm taking the Patriots by 1,000,000 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. The Chicago Bears really don't stand a chance, and with how good the Patriots defense has been playing, I really don't see how Justin Fields is going to have success unless he scrambles like we saw Lamar Jackson do a few weeks ago, but it's not going to be enough, and the Patriots should have a big victory again.
All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below which games you're excited about in Week 7. Let us know if you make any bets. Post your bet slips in the comments down below. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.